that's really important, isn't it? We are the British. People say it's too late. I often hear it now, it's too late. It's a bit of a pathetic excuse, isn't it, really? What they really mean is that I can't really be bothered. I can't be bothered. That's what it is, because they've got other things going on. They've got Emmerdale, the most diverse Yorkshire town I've ever seen in anywhere, because it just doesn't represent any Yorkshire town at all. They've got their lesbian, gay, bisexual and transgendered EastEnders. They've got the thing in the jungle where they eat maggots and stuff like that. So people have got all these different things going on. And they use the excuse it's too late. Well, I tell you what, it's not too late. It's not too late. Out on the streets, there is lots of support for us. There really is. One of my little things today when I was giving leaflets to people is, you've got kids, you'd better read that. You've got a daughter, read that. And they're straight away, they're taking it out of your hand. And they'll take that away and they'll read it. And they'll be flabbergasted. Absolutely flabbergasted that can go on in this town, in this age. Absolutely flabbergasted. Now then, I'm going to hand you over to Mike Whitby. Mike is going to talk a little bit about various things. And Mike is the Northwest Organiser. So, Mike, over to you, sir. Thank you.
My trousers don't bend anymore because they're still sopping wet. So, as is everybody else today. So, thanks very much for coming along and supporting this excellent cause. A couple of things I'd like to tell you about, if I may. So, many people have travelled from all over the country to get here. Some of them, have travelled a long way. So, we'd like to say thanks very much to those people and everyone, whether you're local or you're from a long way. Thanks very much for supporting the Downs family in this, because it's so, so important. And as we said on the street, it's not just for Charlene or Paige Chivers or for the other 7 or 8 girls that have gone missing out of Mario's and Dixon Road. It's for all of those kids around Britain who have been beaten, sexually abused, addicted to drugs, to heroin, as Tony will tell you about later. These people are being abused and raped and murdered on a regular basis. And without going over all the things that, Jack and Nick has already said, we in this room know that it's going on. But soft Johnny English, which is me, I'm English. I'm talking about my own people now.
Johnny English is still at bar. Johnny English is still at bar, that's his name. Johnny English.
Well, no disrespect, Johnny, but my old mum used to call us. My old mum died last year, 92. She always used to say all of my life, soft Johnny English will put up with anything. And she was English through and through. But she would argue all the time against the establishment. Years before the BNP was around. Now, we've got to reinstill that spirit. Most people, as Adams just said, are far too interested in bloody Coronation Street or Emmerdale Farm or some other nonsense, instead of worrying about what's happening to their own people in their own country. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox. Just say thanks to all the Blackpool team for arranging this. I won't mention all the names, they know who they are. Thanks anyway. Also, BNP Television. Derek and Chris mainly, they go all over the country, mainly in the north, because they're from up north. Well, let's say thanks very much. Just recently, as has been mentioned already, we've gotten involved. There's lots more about the Charlene thing going on behind the scenes that a lot of people don't know about. And we plan to do a lot more as well. And one of them was quite recent, maybe 4 weeks ago. The BNP team went to Manchester to the head office, the northern head office of the Crown Prosecution Service. And they were going to doorstep the boss of it. What that means is catch him there and then. We do it by people's houses, their office, whatever. And Nick Griffin was coming along, and Nick was going to be there when they doorstepped him. Now, the boss of the CPS in the north is a Pakistani. Surprise, surprise, we're in Great Britain, yet a Pakistani is the boss of the Crown Prosecution Service in Northern England. So he just happens to come outside to have his ciggies, isn't he? So instantly our BNP team swooped on him, and Tony Bamber there stuck a microphone under his nose and said, "What about Charlene Downs? Why aren't you doing anything?" And this fella waffled for about 5 minutes, and Tony kept there. And Karen was with him as well. Where are you, Karen? Sorry, love. Karen was stood right beside Tony, and Tony said, "Here's Charlene Downs' mother. What have you got to say to her about the fact that you've done absolutely nothing in 10 years? And that was just 4 weeks ago. And I reckon that is the thing that's made them make this decision yesterday. Well done, bnptv. Now, there's like I mentioned, there's other things going on around the country that perhaps you're not aware of. Let me just get my notes here. There's a chap in Yorkshire. What's his name now? Forgive me. His name's Bill Bunting. A year ago, Bill donated £1,000 worth of these T-shirts to the Downs family's cause. And, he's not here today, but a big thank you to him. Also, one of our colleagues from Worcester, Carl Mason, so if there's any Midlands people here, some of the lads from Stoke will know Carl. He comes up with some cracking ideas. And he's come up with things like this, where this little leaflet, it's that size for a particular reason. You fold it in half, and it fits perfectly into a cash machine. So that when someone comes along to get some cash out, they've got to take that out to put the thing in. Now, as soon as Carl came up with this idea, he sat in the car and watched people. And they'd go, because Karen's here, I won't go into the details of what it says on it actually, but it makes you think about what's going on. And every one of those people put it in their pocket. They didn't throw it away. They want to read that when they get home. Another thing Carl's come up with is these stickers. We've got a box of them here somewhere. Stickers to go on envelopes. Doesn't matter who you're sending a letter to, put a Charlene, it says whokilledCharleneDowns.com. Now, there isn't actually a website called whokilledCharleneDowns.com, but it doesn't matter, because once they Google Charlene Downs, there's 17 pages of information about Charlene. So, another great idea. I'll just get these, just remind you here of what we've got. Sorry about that. Adam's brought these down today. That little label on there, there's 15 of them on there. You just get these label things and then you print them onto them. So there's quite a few there. You could, if anyone wants to get involved, they could take a page of those away. We leave them down here. There's also these posters. You could put in your car, your house, window at home, or whatever. There's another thing. As we said today, we don't trust the police. Never have done, never will do. If they told me it was daylight outside, I'd question it. They lie through their teeth. We had a fella there today, Mark Hughes his name is, Inspector Mark Hughes. Came along and said, "Oh, I'm Mr. Nice Guy. Oh, I'm going to look after you. Really going to do things." Didn't he, Jack? Another scumbag. Because he went right against everything that he'd said. And as Adam said before, you just ring us on 101 if anyone attacks you. But we're here to help you have a good meeting. As soon as we started saying things that they didn't like, perfectly lawful things, they moved us over to the sea. They'd have been happier to get us in the sea, as Nick said. Well, that's not going to happen. Now, to continue this campaign, we considered all sorts of things. And we've looked at a petition. Now, you can get thousands of names on a petition, and they just ignore it. A friend of mine in Liverpool got 150,000 names on a petition a few years ago. Peter Tierney. And they just completely ignored it. But if they got 150,000 letters, individual letters, they won't ignore them. Every single letter like that has got to have a letter responding to it. So what we've done is we've got a letter there with a few lines at the top for you to put your name and address and sign it down the bottom. And the police are obliged to respond. They have to write to you. If they don't write to you, send them another one. Keep sending it every single week if you like. Now, you don't have to think up a fancy letter. The basis of this letter is that leaflet we've been giving out today, with a little bit extra in there. Now, all you've got to do is put your name on it, put it in an envelope, put one of them things on, preferably on the front, stick a second-class stamp on it, and post it. There's one we prepared earlier, as they used to say on Blue Peter. That one's ready to go. Now, when these things start coming in thick and fast, and this Chief Constable of Lancashire Constabulary, his name is Steve Finnegan, when he starts getting sackloads of these every single day, that's when they'll deal with it. They won't do anything unless the people demand that things get done. We can't trust them when they say, oh yeah, we've reopened the case, we're going to deal with it. As Jack has just quite rightly pointed out, we've been talking to these people for years now about reopening the case or having a retrial. And every single time they've said, well, the case is not closed. It's still ongoing. We haven't closed it. Well, if you haven't closed it, why aren't you doing anything? And as it's been said before, even if you don't think those two people are guilty, which they do believe those people are guilty because they've got 52 tape recordings of them two saying what they did. But even if that were the case, then why aren't they looking for somebody else? Why are they not doing anything? So this fella has been the Chief Constable of Lancashire for about 5-6 years now. Wasn't there in 2003, admittedly, but he's been there for 5 or 6 years and he's done nothing. So what I'd like to do is show you that we've got 1,000 of these letters here today. I'd like everybody to take a bundle. There's 10 copies there. And they've all been separated into bundles of 10. So during the break, if you'd all come along and take 10. Yeah? Okay? Take 10 and take them on. Ask your friends, your neighbours or whatever to fill it in. Don't worry about putting your name and address on it because they've got all our names anyway. And do we care? No, we don't. If GCHQ, MI5, MFI, whatever they're called, are listening and watching, up yours. Right? We're going to do it and we're going to keep on doing it. And we're not going to stop when they say, oh, we're going to do something about it. We're going to stop when we get real justice for Charlene.
Well said.
Thanks very much.